Yo, what is up guys, I'm here hitting you up with a new Etheria restart video. Today we will talk about Fushu and a little bit about MaTeIRiA, the two new animus units we got in Etheria right now, but we will specifically focus on Fushu for this video because I think we already know about MaTeIRiA. He's probably one of the worst SSRs in the game right now. He's not worth the investment, even if you want an AoE defense break. If you need AoE defense break, you know what you can do. Just use a Dyna, just use a Gray, and you're good to go. Provides nothing at all to the team, to the party. That really helps you. I can see more as of a PvP team and potentially being in a speed clear team for Doki Doki Inferno because he has the AoE defense break with the CC to remove the damage reduction from the enemies. But that's really about it when it comes to his kit. I watched Sean's stream yesterday a little bit because he skilled up. That poor guy. He is now patiently waiting for a reset event. There's a lot of other people who wanna reset certain units in the game. But yeah guys, so this is about Fushu. You can see here in the background already. And also guys, quick thing in eigener Sache, we are super close on hitting 5,000 subscribers on this channel, and 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe. You're watching my videos anyways, right? Now I had the chance to play actually Fushu yesterday for quite some time and really get to know her, get to test her, and how you wanna kind of play her. Where's her time to shine? Where do you want to bring her? How do you want to implement her in the team? And I'm also try different type of setups and see like how she performs well and how you can actually make use of her in whatever type of content you are playing. So for example, do you want to run a double healer type of setup thing? For example, you want to use the Fushu together with Valerian, or do you want to combo her with a Ling Lao? Both of these scenarios do work, but then you have to consider that you are running lower on support type of units. But even though she has some utility with that, I think, which is especially I feel like if you have no Lily, this is where she is pretty good for you in a sense of the Lily provides a speed up and the push for your DPS, right? Now this is what you can get with your Fushu. She provides utility, healing, support, and her healing, by the way, is not based on her max HP. It is based more on your allies max HP. I tested quite some different things. She's currently has the gear of Valerian equipped, but to be honest, in my opinion, the way you wanna play her, of course I'm going to die and cannot reach the 100 points, but you know what, it is what it is, right? But that often happens with these union bosses. But the thing with her is you don't actually want to make her slow. Yes, you can make her tanky, just go with triple HP, or I would say even HP resistance or HP double resistance, something just so she does not really get afflicted by any sort of debuffs, which could potentially be annoying with this unit. But if we take a look at Fushu, for example, again, now the cool part about her really is the fact that I think she works fine without any skill up investments, but I do for sure can say that she will be a lot better if you can actually maximize her skill ups, especially if you look like I noticed with her S2 for example, which hits for 3 times and then triggers the Moonlit Veil every single time. This one at some point you kind of want to have maxed out or at level 4, because then you're getting the burst heal. So basically her S2 is her burst heal, where when she uses that skill, does 3 hits and someone is low, she can fill up the HP bar of a unit. But you also have to keep in mind that Moonlit Veil with the healing percentage, it is not based on her own max HP. If you watch the footage right now or you can go back in the footage, and if you look at the numbers, our allies are healing is like 1300 something. It is not based off her max HP, but it is based off the max HP of your allies, right? So it's not scaling off her max HP, sadly, but it is what it is. But the higher you upgrade the stuff, the shield is based on her max HP. So if you can make her super tanky, now her shield gets a lot thicker. Do you need the thickest shield necessarily? Maybe not. But what really helps is the fact the turn meter boost So you get that from 9% to 12%, which is, trust me, a lot. It is actually a lot. And the healing from 6% to 8%, which is also a lot. So every time they get a turn, it triggers the Moonlit Veil. So every time they lap, they actually heal a lot. Now you think like 6%, 8% is not like a lot, 1000 something. But if you can lap a boss a lot, that is now actually quite strong, because your units get maybe like 2, 3, 4 turns depending on what happens before the enemy moves, especially when you are in a control scenario. And I feel like this is where she shines the most. If you are in a control scenario where you use stunts a lot, dots a lot, stuff like that, you have the shield, you get the turn meter, so you actually lap a lot more. This is where she becomes very, very potent. And I feel like this is a unit that is good right out of the gate without any skill up investments. And if you decide to put skill ups into her, she becomes even better. Okay, so this is how she works. Now for her ideal setup, in my personal opinion, is you for sure want to have Time Weave. Like, Time Weave is the absolute bare minimum you want to have on this unit. The way she plays, if you can lower cooldowns for herself and allies, this is ideal. This is what you want. And I don't necessarily see her as a PvP unit. I feel like for PvP she's not good at all. I might change my opinion at some point in time. I didn't use her for PvP yet, so I can't judge her for PvP, but I don't think she's that good for PvP. But for PvE, having Weave on her is very, very strong. You can go with Wellspring, but also I feel like you can also not go wrong with a Swift Rush. Make her actually fast, don't make her slow really. Go with a fast set. And also another option for her would be like Time Weave together with Bramble. Bramble would also be an option, because if she decides, for example, to counter attack, that triggers, for example, her S1, and when she's doing her S1, it pushes 2 allies, random allies turn meter. So this helps out as well. If, let's say, for example, someone, as you know, that there's like a lot of units that lapping, you know, there's like 4 different enemies they attack in a row and you can't do anything. And if she decides to counter, maybe this just gives you that extra little bonus to push maybe a unit to cut in between. That could happen. It's like a very, very niche use for that. But then also next to that, you could also just go, for example, a blood buff set. Blood buff would also work, so you go with blood buff Time Weave, so she just tanks as much as she can, right, while also reducing the cooldowns of your party with having Time Weave equipped on her. And then when it comes to the shell, I feel like for the shell you have many different options. So you can either go with Gigabyte. I feel like Gigabyte overall is not a bad option, because the way she works with her Moonlit Veil, stuff like that, she doesn't want to get, as soon as she triggers it, you want to have her trigger that, and then you don't want her to get that many turns. But also Gigabyte helps to actually her getting turns later down the line, especially also when she then runs out of that buff, to get that extra turn, to get that extra weave proc and stuff like that, to get that as free going again. That is an option. You can also go with Artisan. Artisan is also not a bad option, just to get extra shield when she gets a turn, right? This helps out. You can also go with Alicorn if you want her, like if she gets like any sort of debuffs, you want to cleanse the debuffs. That is an option as well. And then I feel like another good option for her is Fortissimo, because especially when you do a lot of leaping, you do a lot of leaping, right? And you are in a control scenario. She's using her S3 nonetheless, even if your allies are at full HP, because she provides a speed buff, she provides a shield, right? Now, when you are in a full HP scenario, now Fortissimo becomes very, very potent on her, because you're now starting to overheal. You're now starting to overheal and store the healing. And now when you actually need the heal, now you get a burst heal to your character. So I feel like Fortissimo is definitely one of the better options for her. Amber you could also use, right? But I feel like in a PvE scenario, Amber doesn't really do much for you. You kind of want to protect your party, right? It's not about the healer surviving, it's more about the other units surviving. So I think Fortissimo might actually be a very, very decent choice on her, what you want to go for her to increase the healing. And I feel like stuff like this could also be good. Cure, increase the healing potency, and Evil Guard. So for example, this specific piece here might be nice, but I personally do prefer Time Weave, because that helps out your party. So Evil Guard would be then a good option, like in combination, but like You have to see what works out. Blood buff you maybe don't even necessarily need, and you can go, for example, if you go purely for PvE content and you say like, okay, you don't need the blood buff for the survivability, then I think Weave with a Q and Evo God might be the best option for her. You can go for. Now about the overall, do you need Fushu? Is she a must pull? I would say no, she is not. If you have Valerian and if you have Linglao you should have, because she is free for everybody, and once you max out her S1 she becomes very, very potent, right? Very, very strong, and then Valerian is already very, very good enough. You do not need her necessarily. If you want to have her, get her. If you just want to have another healer option, go get her. I feel like her shining content is stuff like Ember Track, where you get a lot of terms where you control Union Boss, Phantom Theater, and maybe also for content like Cage Rumble, where you need an additional healer, right? So we have 3 teams different. You have in one team you have Linglao, and the other one you have Valerian, and then on your third one you have Fushu. There's also Zanya available as well, right? But she provides something completely different with the way she works. So in those modes where you actually need a lot of time, basically, which takes you 5 to 10 minutes of completion, I think this is where she shines the most. This is your personal choice. She is a good unit to pick up, but you could also just skip her. She's not a necessity whatsoever. And Naho, just don't bother with this guy. And yeah guys, this is all I want to say for today, for this video. My honest opinion on Fushu. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And guys, as per always, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see you with the next one. Deuces.